back to Out and About today. We're still talking with the Shipleys, foster parents in Tennessee. So let's go to when you are finally accepting a child. You've been through this process. You get the intake information. You ask the right questions. Well, how many kids have you fostered so far?
So far, we have fostered 4 kids since we've been approved in Tennessee. We've accepted kiddos during the daytime. We've accepted kids in the middle of the night. So it doesn't matter when. We've had 4 in our home.
And what were the length of those stays? Because I feel like it's important to let people know there are all different time periods. So how long did you have each child?
One of them we had for about 2 months, almost 3 months, and the other ones ranged from a couple of days to a couple of weeks. So it just varies.
And describe when a child comes in, what are some of the requirements, things you have to get done through DCS or probably any other agency that's important to check in with the kids? What's that like?
So you definitely have to manage a number of different things, scheduling dental appointments, medical checkups, and those are all required as part of the process. Once the child comes into DCS custody or to Child Protective Services, they have to receive a screening at some point. And then it's managing ongoing appointments like that. You could also be managing visits with a therapist or psychiatrist. And then, of course, also working with the school systems to get them enrolled if they haven't been, or to change their enrollment, and to meet teachers and really handle everything about the child's life, to be honest.
Right. And there is a small stipend that's associated with caring for kids. I think when I Googled it, the numbers say it's about 50% of what a kid requires. But the reality is when a child shows up at your home, describe maybe what they have or what they don't have with them on them when they come walking in.
Right. It just varies depending on the situation. One of our examples that I can use was in an accident, came straight from the hospital, and they were still in a surgical gown. So at that moment, they didn't have anything. So the stipend helps, but that can be delayed a couple of weeks until it gets going in the system. But you do need to realize as a foster parent, we put out a ton of money of your own, and you might not ever get that money back at all because this is for the kid. You've got to make sure that you realize it's not about going into it because you want to be a foster parent or you want a kiddo. You're there to serve these kids that need help. And so you do have a lot of expenses that you have to be prepared for, just like if you had your own kid.
And of course, things like the medical and dental and whatnot, those things are obviously covered under their insurance, but any type of those expenses, you'll have to be prepared to shell out some money for.
That's right. If they're about to start school, there may be a book bag or supplies needed. Tell us, and we only have a couple minutes left, so I want you to speak to just a day-to-day challenge. Let's not talk stuff, just maybe emotionally that you're offering support to a child in your home.
Yeah, it could vary based on their situation. If they've had a very traumatic event, which all of them are going through traumatic events because they're going into foster care, it's challenging because you might have to speak to them about why their parent might have died or why their mommy's not in the picture or daddy's not in the picture. So you have to juggle that aspect with actually being a normal parent, just trying to give them their normal needs that they need throughout their life. But then you also have to juggle the restrictions that you have to be placed on. You're not a normal parent because you have to have everything locked up in a cabinet. So you have to be cognizant of those things. You're still a parent, but you're working within constraints to make sure everything is safe and stable for the kid. And then really just jumping through the hurdles of different meetings, because you still have meetings for the kids, whether it's monthly, weekly, that you have to go through with whatever agency you're with. So you really have to uproot your life and make sure you're available for that kiddo. If you're not going to be able to, then it might not be a good fit to be a foster parent.
That's right. And you hit on it. If a child's in the foster care program, you know, it's a sad story, right? They're not coming to you in the best time in their life. Well, we're out of time, guys, and I appreciate your time here. We're going to put up some information on how you can get more information if you're interested in fostering. Thank you, and I look forward to checking back in with you guys later. And that's all the time we have for tonight. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite social channels for breaking news and entertainment, or watch clips of the show anytime at outandabouttoday.com. See you next weekend. Good night.